Hey, how's it going, everyone? We are making a tier list, shocker. It is the day that Gizmo came out, and I will say I'm very much loving this character. I like him so much more than Morty. To me, this is a very fun character, and today we are going to be remaking the tier list, and this is probably something I'll do for every video. That way, so instead of like, as a new player, just looking at the tier list and being like, oh, this character's top tier, I can kind of explain a bit more, and I don't want this to be super long, because normally they end up being long, but no one's going to have to make them long by stalling. I'm not afraid to admit it. We're going to try not to do that one today. So as you can see, everyone's on this list. Rick is still on this tier list, even though he's not out in the game, and he's probably not going to be out for a while. I honestly think they're more likely to add Black Adam first. But anyways, so how this tier list works is exactly how you can see. I don't think there's any below average characters. I think there are some characters that are not as quite good and need buffs, but I think there's an average mark and then there's above. Everything else. With that being said, Superman. Superman's a good character. He has a lot of priority on his moves. He has a lot of armor. He can get pretty cheesy and easy kills with good edge guarding. He is good, but I wouldn't say really good because a lot of the top tiers can out prioritize him with either disjoints or projectiles. If you don't let Superman get his hands on you, there's nothing he can really do about it. He just doesn't really have priority like that in terms of like, oh, you're spamming projectiles, let him do. I mean, he has frost, which is good, but it's a bit different when you can also just kind of like rush him down with characters with disjoints. So next up is LeBron James, and LeBron is at least a good character, but I want to say he's really good. Um, I think I won't for now. It's kind of hard to say because LeBron is really good. Basically, LeBron's whole gimmick is that he can throw his ball and do damage with his ball. But the thing is, he can kind of struggle to kill, but he can rack up a lot of damage. And if you're playing good LeBron, he gets insane edge guards with the ball. And for that, for now, I'll keep him in good, but I could very well agree with an argument for him being up here. So, but Jake. Now, Jake is a character with disjoints and massive disjoints. He's a character that's a little harder to play. You really need to kind of like space out. You cannot be a rush down with him, which is why he's a character that never really clicks with me. But to be fair, he doesn't really have too many downsides. There's just not much that makes him apparently dominant. I'd say he's a really good character. That's something that started to grow on me a lot more recently, as I've been shifting to find my new mains after my old one is nerfed, which they are on this tier list. So we will get there. But yeah, I think Jake's really good. I get why people think he's as good. I originally didn't see it, but with his disjoints, the only thing he doesn't really have is a projectile. So, but now for a character that is still much better than every other character in this game, Tom and Jerry just have so much. All of his special moves are all projectiles basically. He has like 5 different projectiles, which means approaching this character can be really hard, especially if you have a character that is a rush down, rushing the opponents and keeping them off you, while you set up as Tom and Jerry, and just you can just do a lot of things with them. And plus, they have like really good movement speed. They can be hard to kill. They have a lot of mix-ups. Tom and Jerry is just kind of nuts. They really don't have any bad moves. Super fun when they're on your team. They can be annoying depending who you're playing. If you're playing like a DC character, I'm sorry for you. But next up is Taz. Taz is a weird character in this game because he's a character that needs to get buffed a lot, and that they haven't done that quite yet for him. Like he actually got nerfed a little bit in the recent one. A recent patch notes that came out today, which is obviously September 8th. I guess it's the 9th now, so I guess yesterday. But the same day the Queen died, weirdly enough. No comment on that though. I don't feel like talking about that in this one. But Taz is a character that is good. He has stuff going for him. Like I said, there's a reason there's the average tier in this, which in my opinion would secretly be like B plus tier, if I had to assign a letter to it, because every character in this game is good. It's just a matter. It's just a matter of how good they are. And I feel like Taz just isn't better than the rest of the roster. I think he's on par with some of the weaker characters in the roster. Taz is still good. He has a really nice projectile. It doesn't go far, but it's really nice close range because it'll put him in enough end lag to kind of start a combo. So you can throw it out there as a combo starter, which another character in this tier list, hint, it's Gizmo, kind of has that same thing, which is a very nice thing to have. A projectile you can easily combo off of close range is just really good. However, he can kind of struggle to kill, and he doesn't have a lot of range on his moves. So a lot of times he can get hit when he's attacking, but also I haven't seen too much of him since the hitbox changes, so maybe it's a bit better for Taz now. Maybe his hitbox gets shifted back more during his attacks. But I don't think it's enough to put him up a tier. And now Harley Quinn. Harley Quinn's a good character that has been up and down on the tier list. There was a point in time where I thought she was a top 3 character in the game, but in the broken tier, because there was a time where I honestly thought that Tom and Jerry, Finn, Harley Quinn were the 3 most broken characters in the game. And I don't feel that way anymore, but these characters are still good. Harley is still a good character with everything that she has. She has some disjoints. She has some projectiles, and she has some like really good combo game and good neutral. It can be hard to approach a Harley, and she can set up traps that are really good. She doesn't do really anything too much for the team, but if you're pairing with another vertical character, she is really nice. And now Rain Dog. Rain Dog, I feel like, is one of the best supports in the game. I think all the supports are actually good. If I'm being honest, I think all the supports are good. But Rain Dog to me is close to average, but I don't think they're quite average. Rain Dog can do a lot of damage, which makes Rain Dog very oppressive as a support character. When you can allow yourself to save your teammates. I don't think they heal their teammates, but Rain Dog they can very much save their teammates and rack up a lot of damage while doing so. They can set off certain things like Gizmo's popcorn, and they make it the fire blast, which is of course stronger than the normal one. So there's a lot of value in Rain Dog, but Rain Dog is a character that you don't see a lot of play of because, in my opinion, supports characters just quite aren't good enough. I feel like Rain Dog is a bit of an exception, but Batman is not even like worth playing. I don't see why people think Batman's good at all. By the way, this is a 2v2's tier list. I didn't clarify this, but that's the only thing that matters to me in this game. 1v1s to me doesn't matter. I know we're a bit in, but I'll make sure in the description to clarify it's a 2v2's tier list video. But it does also pretty much apply anyways, so whatever. But Batman is not a great character. I have a friend who's pretty decent at this game, who is like a level 28 Batman. And I've never seen a character that not great. Batman struggles for kills. Can get damage done, but there's nothing he does that's like special that other characters don't have. The only thing he has going from that's good is battering. But I feel like battering is like good, but is it worth not being able to kill people? In my opinion, no. So, anyways, I just don't think Batman's just not really worth playing. He really can't kill. You have to be very, very precise to get a kill with him, and in my opinion, you might as well just play another character. There's nothing that Batman does better than all the other characters. So, but Wonder Woman is a character that did just get recently buffed. It was last patch notes, and honestly, it was enough to put her no longer an average. She can do pretty good damage and is really tanky. I think she is the tankiest character in the game now, but that might be Superman. But she also supports, unlike Superman. Superman is a bruiser disguised as a tank because he's just really tanky. And Superman is good, but Wonder Woman I feel is this is ordered. I am ordering these, but I feel like LeBron. I'll keep it like this because she doesn't struggle as much to kill. Honestly, she doesn't really struggle as much to kill. But She's really good with her whip. She can have good spacing. Her shield is really useful. She can block projectiles, even though it's a bit more limited than someone like Gizmo, who can kind of just throw it down and block every projectile. That part about Gizmo is really crazy. But once again, I'll try to stop referencing him. We'll talk about when he get there. But the thing is, a lot of her moves are very short ranged. Not a lot of lunge on moves. Her sword is short as is, and that could be a problem when facing prominent projectile characters or spacies. But if you can, she's one of the best rushdown characters in the game, and paired with someone like Tom and Jerry, it's a great combo. That's why you see Nakat and Void running that. It's the reason they won with that. It's a really good team comp, and both of them are very competent and good with their characters. Yeah, she's just a close down Rushy. Now here's a character that you would think would be a close down Rushy, but isn't. Yeah, Finn. I don't know why they buffed him again. I'm so close to wanting to put him in top tier, but I'm not going to for now. But Finn is a dumb character. He is definitely one of the dumbest characters in this game, besides Shaggy. Spoilers. Shaggy is really dumb. We'll get that's next though. But Finn has disjoints. He has really strong KO moves. His down tilt on stage will lunge him forward, and that will pick you up and it can spike you if you're close enough to ledge. Which means if you're sitting like anywhere between like 1/5 of the stage from ledge, there's a good chance you die at like 70. I kid you not. It literally is that simple. Like it sends you at an angle where you can't recover it. That move alone, getting rebuffed after it was nerfed and it was in a very good state, it getting buffed is just insane to me. I don't get why they buffed Finn again. But Finn is really good. He even has upgrades, which are not too useful, admittedly. You don't really need the upgrades. But they do exist. They are there. Up next is Shaggy, and Shaggy is a dumb character that has not been touched in this game yet. He is the dumbest character. I think he right now is. I think this is the top three. Oh yeah, no other characters going up there. I think this is top three right now. Yeah, Shaggy is so dumb. A lot of his moves have so much priority, so much damage, so much knockback, and there's like very little benefit to not pressing them. If you're facing a character that is allowing you to be stun locked for a bit off of like even just jab, Shaggy can come in side B you, like side air special you with kick, and then you can just die at like 100 very 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 easily. It has a pretty big hitbox, and that's just not even all of his moves. He has one of the strongest spikes in the game. It's a little harder to hit because it's not straight down. It's a bit forward, but it's like pretty downwards too. So it's a harder hitbox to hit. It's not the fastest, but it kills. Up B kills. He can charge up his moves, and then those do a lot of damage and have a lot of knockback. If you're playing a lighter character, Shaggy just destroys. And I don't get why people don't think this character is good. I don't get why people don't think this character is top tier. I don't get it. But Bugs Bunny, also a really good character. If you want to argue he's top 3 over these characters, I'd be willing to see it. But down tilt is just too crazy on Jake. On Finn. But I will say Bugs is right there. Bugs did get some nerfs. They didn't seem like they mattered an insane amount. This game has a weird problem with there's only one character they've ever actually nerfed to the floor and made them a bad character. And we'll get there when we get there. But every time they typically nerf a character, it isn't too much. Like, Jake for me has literally gone up in tier list ever since he's been nerfed. It's more of a thing like you realize with this game that characters are better. This game is a very changing game. Like, my opinion on the tier list can change weekly, just depending what match, just who I run into. I could go from thinking like Batman's a bad character to like he's top tier. It really is perspective and changing who you're playing so you get different matchups, so on and so forth. Like, that's why I do so many tier list videos whenever I do character drops, because my opinion on this game genuinely changes every time I play this game. But there are some characters that are outliers. Tom and Jerry has not left top tier, I think, in any of my videos. But we're getting sidetracked. Bugs is really good. He has really good projectiles. He has good, good normals, good specials. Pretty dominant character. He has a very weird spike, but it's one of the strongest. He has some moves that are kind of not as good as others, but overall, he's really good. Iron Giant. Hate to say it, but he's a mid-tier character. He is still good, but after these set of nerfs too, I think it's very hard for me to say that he is a good character. I can't say he's a good character. I always thought he was a bit overrated, but I don't think he's amazing. I simply just don't. His projectiles can be cool, but now with the new breaking clashing system, they get nerfed more than anyone. His hitboxes aren't crazy anymore, so yeah, he has a lot of range. But when a lot of the dominant characters are projectile character, projectile character, projectile character, has a projectile, disjoint, disjoint. The only character that Iron Giant kind of foxes is Finn. All these other characters, you included, potentially you. Like, most of these characters have winning matchups against Iron Giant. He has pretty bad matchup spread, especially in 2v2s. Now, Steven Universe, I feel like, is not a great character. His shielding is really nice, and if you can set up shields really, really effectively, he is good. But I feel like he is the... do I want to say weak? I think he's probably the weakest support. In my opinion, he does need a buff. Like, he is good, but do I want to say he's as good as these guys? I don't think so. I feel like he needs to do a bit more. I mean, he does have the self-healing. I will put him up here because if he also has like the self-healing, it can spawn like a third teammate. But being able to shield your teammates is really useful. Like, I was playing for a bit. Do enjoy him. The shield's really nice. You can put up your own shields that act as blocks, which is really good. And you can stall with them really well. But a lot of his normal attacks don't hit. He can struggle to kill. He's mostly set up to disrupt the enemies with what they're doing, while he kind of like sits back and does nothing. Which isn't a huge problem, but that's not what I want in a support character. I want support characters to not have to like play lame, set up, and then do stuff. And Morty's the weirdest character in this game. I don't think he's that good. I think Morty is just so weird. I can't even describe what his moves do. I feel like none of them are strong. I feel like no matter what, this will always be a low tier character. Just because his move set makes no sense. And it doesn't have good flow with the rest of it. Like, a character like Gizmo was like, I was watching the review and I'm like, oh, he's going to play weird. But then you play him and he's like, actually, like, after a bit, he's normal. Same with Velma. Same with a few characters in this. Like, Bugs Bunny just makes sense after a few games. Morty's a character I played for like 2-3 hours and I was grasping at straws. He was still not a character I was figuring out. He's definitely playable, but to me he just doesn't do much. Some of his moves can be really good, but he's surrounded by a lot of bad moves. Arya, I do want to put her really good, but she just has no range. She can do really good damage. She has good combos, but 2v2 she isn't able to be a pop off as much as like you'd kind of expect. I just still think she's amazing, but she's probably one of the weirdest characters to play in this game besides Morty, because of just the way her moves work. She's definitely more of a 1v1 character, but even then, I feel like her matchup spread is a little rough. She might be a better rush on than Wonder Woman, but she also doesn't do anything for her team basically. So, anyways, Garnet, worst character in the game, just straight up. She is not good. She is not. She doesn't do anything really at all. Her singing buff is barely a buff. It barely does nothing. Her projectile speed did get buffed, but it's not. It's not enough to make her good. And yeah, I mean, I really have nothing to say about Garnet. But oh boy, do I have a lot to say about Velma that I'm not going to, since we're about 18 minutes into this video. We're at the 21-minute mark. Never mind. Um, Velma's not that good. After all of her nerfs, almost every aspect of her has been changed. I guess what they did was make her so she is no longer a rush down character that is really tanky with the best projectiles in the game and can heal her teammates and can heal herself and can get early kills with her very powerful moves and as a support character. Instead, they made her just a support character. She can't heal herself anymore. Her moves are a lot slower. They're still strong, but she dies a lot earlier. And she just doesn't help her teammate as much anymore. Like, I feel like she's still good, but I don't see myself wanting to play her over the other ones. I think she's just not as good as she is, or was. She's actually the only character the only character that's actually jumped up all the tiers. She was top tier. She was top 1, top 2. Depending who you asked, in my opinion, better than Tom and Jerry, just because she was doing so much supporting, and Tom and Jerry's just really oppressive. But she was also oppressive. But now she isn't. She just flat out isn't anymore. She's still usable. Every character in this game is very usable. It's just a matter of how good you are and how you're able to skirt around matchups and whatnot. But she's just nowhere near her glory. And finally, the new character. And from now on, I'm not going to do this, where I rework the tier list. Or maybe I'll just do it a bit faster. But Gizmo is the newest character, and Gizmo is really fun. Gizmo's a bit weird. They can take a while to set up for very, very not crazy setups. And keep in mind, this is day 1, so my placement could be a bit inaccurate. But so let me order this. I think Arya's right here, and all this is already ordered. I think Gizmo is good. The thing is, Gizmo being a support character that does actively nothing to support their teammates, that is actually like meaningful, makes me feel like they should probably be a mage. This is another character I feel like they fumbled. I feel like Morty's definitely a mage. Morty's not a brawler whatsoever. Don't know why he's a brawler. But Gizmo just doesn't do enough to support for me to put him up high. But they do a lot of damage. The one thing is they do struggle to kill, which is very consistent with supports. Every support struggles to kill. Every one of them. Raindog struggles. Not as much, but Raindog can struggle. Velma struggles now unless you hit like some really crazy spikes, which isn't uncommon. But Steven is not killing. And Gizmo isn't really great at killing either. But Gizmo can rack up a lot of damage. Can be very disruptive with the amount of arrows you can sling out. And if you have time to set up Popcorn, that's really good. They have a debuff that's pretty useless. Because, I mean, if it activates, it's really good. Because it means any move that has a cooldown you can't use while you have that debuff on you. Which is really good. But you don't have time to set that up. You're kind of lucky if you can get one off in a match. But overall, Gizmo is good. Gizmo is going to good tier. I think Gizmo is better than these characters. Pretty honest, mid tier is pretty disruptive. It can be hard to approach one, but Gizmo is light. Gizmo can struggle to kill. There's a lot of times where I'm sitting there as like 150 and I'm just not hitting like one of the very few kill moves. It felt like how LeBron felt at first, but then once you learn to master the ball, it's not as bad. But yeah, this is the tier list. Thank you for watching. and I will catch you guys in the next video. Later.